Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Muhammad Najmi Najib bin Azhar with number matrix of 281440. We'll be presenting the diagrams for sales order and cash receipt of SSU. There are three diagrams: context diagram, logical data flow diagram, and flowchart diagram. To create the diagram, we have to formulate a table of entities and activity first. There are 8 entities, which is customers, sales department, computer department, warehouse department, billing department, account receivable department, mailroom department, and cash receipt department. These activities on the right will be used in the next diagram. Now we are looking at SSU context diagram. We start with the customers sending their order and payment, and the system will record this transaction and perform item requisition to the warehouse. Then the warehouse will file a lading and packaging slip and report the summary to the account receivable. Logical DFD of SSU for sales order process is a more detailed version of the context diagram. The process starts with customers sending order information, and the sales department will receive the sales order. The system will check customers' credit before continuing. For approved customers' credit, the process will continue and create a sales order and file 2 copies of sales order into digital sales journal and customer order file. After that, the warehouse department will identify items to be sold using the sales order copy as a stock release. The sales order copy will also be filed in the warehouse department under the sales record file. The warehouse will send a packaging slip and bill of lading to be sent to the carrier. To continue the process, the system will create a digital shipping notice and reconcile the sales order. Then the sales order and the shipping notice will be sent to the account receivable department. The department will create an account subsidiary ledger and file the sales order copy in the department and update the account receivable ledger using invoice copy and file the invoice copy in the department. Here is the logical DFD of SSU for cash receipt process. We start with the customers sending their remittance advice and checks to the mailroom department. The mailroom clerk will send the remittance advice to account receivable department and send the checks to the cash receipt department. In the account receivable department, it will update the balance in the account receivable and file the remittance advice copy in the department before sending a batch of total of sales to the general ledger. Meanwhile, the cash receipt department will record the checks and prepare the deposit slip to be posted to the bank and update the cash receipt journal. The batch total of cash receipt transaction will be updated in the general ledger. This is the flowchart of the SSU cycle. This shows the process of the system by department in a very detailed manner. For example, in the sales department, the symbol of key in sales order indicates that it is an automatic process. Meanwhile, checking the remittance advice is a manual process done by the sales department clerk. And that should be all the flowchart for that 7 department.
Assalamualaikum and good day. So today I will continue the presentation with the subtopic 2, which is the strength of internal control in the SSU revenue cycle. So there are 3 strengths of internal control, which is the first one is the documentation control, the second is the inventory control, and lastly is the processing control. The first one is documentation control. This can be supported where each department receive, process, send, and store the files in a computer program. This can be said as a strong internal control as it can quickly identify errors by tracing transactions records stored in the document. Next is inventory control. To prove, warehouse clerk use the sales order as a stock release document. This shows that only responsible person in charge allowed to take the inventory. So this can be said as a strong internal control because the inventory can be protected and any potential of fraud can be reduced. When any fraud or corruption happen, the SSU can refer back to person in charge who is responsible to the assets of the company. Lastly is processing control. This can be proved when the business system will do a batch control daily because the SSU want to make sure that all the records in the batch are processed and no records are processed more than once. This can be said as a strong internal control because SSU can quickly identify errors if sales and cash receipt transactions have a different amount. So, next I will pass to the next presenter to continue the presentation.
My name is Aida Zahira binti Ismail and my metric number is 281448. There are several weaknesses in SSU revenue cycle. Firstly is the improper way in document preparation in the warehouse department. The warehouse clerk manually prepare the bill of lading and packaging slip, which can lead to negligence. Hence, the error of data might happen because of the wrong information transferred. This could encourage the misleading information to the carrier company, customers and to the SSU itself.
Firstly, sales order not accurately prepared and recorded. The data of bill of lading and packaging slip may lose or wrongly entered. Other departments will proceed their works with the wrongly order. This will affect delivery delays, denial of claims and accidental costs incurred. Consequently, customer also will receive inquiry order either in excess or in lease.
So when it comes to internal control, it is highly recommended for SSU to apply data input edits, which is under IT controls to overcome this weakness. So first step to apply it is the warehouse clerk should enter the data of the bill of lading and packaging slip into a program computer system. Then the system will check for any missing data and numeric alphabetic data errors that was entered by the clerk. At the end, the system will automatically prepare both documents to prevent data errors.
The next weakness is the omitted complete reconciliation task by the shipping department. SSU did not reconcile the goods with the packaging slip and shipping notice before sending the goods to the customers. This reconciliation is essential as they can detect any errors before the shipment because the previous department, which is the warehouse department, may pick the wrong items or quantities of goods.
Risk of shipping customer inquiry items or quantities. SSU may receive excessive sales return, lost purchase sales, and accounting errors. So, this may break the customer trust and also affecting SSU relationship with customer. Other than that, billing department will receive inefficient shipping notice and also stock release document.
To overcome this weakness and risk, SSU needs to implement independent verification before the goods are shipped to the customers. It is considered as one of the physical controls. So the first step to implement this type of internal control is there should be a shipping department who will verify that the warehouse department put in the correct item and quantities of the goods. Then the second step is the shipping department needs to reconcile the goods with 3 documents, which are stock release document, packing slip, and also shipping notice.
Furthermore, there are non-existence of inventory control department. Billing department of SSU did not send the stock release document to the inventory control department because obviously they don't have this inventory department to update the inventory record. And the warehouse department also is not responsible in updating those inventory records.
Since SSU are unaware to record the inventory ledger, this will lead to inaccurate record keeping. 2 subsidiary ledgers are needed, which are the inventory and AR subsidiary ledger. However, the company only recorded AR subsidiary ledger. Without a proper updated inventory subsidiary record, SSU cannot know whether the quantity on hand falls below reorder point or not. This may lead to shortage of inventory and customer might be frustrated.
Alright, so to overcome the weakness, SSU must implement segregation of duties. First, SSU must establish a control inventory department because without this department, the inventory record cannot be updated. So once SSU has established the department in its revenue cycle, the department should send the stock release document to the department because it will use the document to update inventory record. What is the establishment of the inventory control department is considered as segregation of duties because SSU does not only depend on the cost department to do the inventory related tasks, but it establishes another one department to do the inventory related tasks too.
Next is the inappropriate way used for the early cash receipt procedures, which is in the mail room. There are no staff assigned as the supervisor to monitor all of the procedures that happen in the mail room. SSU also hires the same clerk who has access to both systems, which are the cash and the remittance advice. This could lead to the possibility of dishonest action because the clerk can steal the check, cash it, and destroy the remittance list.
misappropriation of cash receipt and inventory. Cash from customer payment is at risk of being skimmed before it's recorded or embezzled after it has been received and recorded. Inventory in the warehouse can be stolen and sold for cash. The negligence of the workers happen because of the lack of supervision in the mailroom, as this person in charge who opened the mail has access both to cash and the remittance advice.
From the witness and the risk that has been explained, it is very important for SSU to employ a trustworthy person to supervise the mailroom clerk. It is known as supervision, where the supervisor must identify any errors and misrepresentations done by the mailroom clerk to ensure that the clerk do the task he or she is required to, and he or she performs them properly. In short, supervision can be an effective control to prevent fraud in mailroom rather than detecting fraud after it happened.
The last weakness is the incomplete procedures in the cash receipt department. The cash receipt clerk should verify the accuracy and completeness of checks and remittance lists. Without this verifying process, information of cash receipt journal may be incorrect. The clerk also should prepare 2 copies of deposit slips, as they can save the additional copy for future reference.
Inadequate document from cash receipt procedure. Firstly, the information of cash receipt journal may be inaccurate because of the cash receipt clerk does not validate the checks with the remittance list. Secondly, without the additional copy of deposit slip as reference, SSU could not acknowledge the payment received from the customer.
So here for the last one, SSU must implement independent verification to verify the completeness and the accuracy of checks against remittance list. This is to ensure the cash receipt journal that will be prepared is correct. Besides that, SSU also should provide adequate accounting records. In this case, SSU is supposed to prepare 1 more copy of deposit slip and keep it for future reference, because sometimes transactions may get lost in the system. One way to transform SMEs into digital business, SMEs should utilize the cloud storage service to store files and data that related to the revenue and expenditure cycle. It can be considered as a backup procedure because SMEs can still access and trace all of the revenue and expenditure data if their computer terminal is damaged. Cloud storage service is also essential to ensure the continuity of business, especially during the pandemic of COVID-19, where employees are encouraged to work from home. For example, controllers of clerks can access transaction records via cloud storage service to perform reconciliation tasks at their home.
Other than that, SME also can implement Enterprise Resource Planning System, or known as ERP system. ERP system is an integrated corporate software package that includes a set of function modules and integrates all department functions across company into one system. So, the function is one to allow business to control and incorporate in a comprehensive and innovative. The advantage of ERP system that the ERP has helped eliminating common errors and commit by workers, increase efficiency, and further enhancing in the internal control of the SME.
Omnichannel user experience, which is a single user experience that combined with multiple marketing that can be applied to. This seamless user experience extends cross-channel engagement, which connect consumer with the business in a very different way. Although in different consumer touchpoints, the communication is remain constant and the inventory insight is available across the channel. This adopting omnichannel strategy may increase sales, operational efficiency, and inventory turnover.
Finally, the business nowadays should implement digital advertisement, which is the process of promoting products by using online mediums across the wide network of internet, including Google and YouTube. It could provide wider access to customers and help the business to specify the targeted customers in different online platforms at affordable price. Creative content also could lead to vigorous promotion, because an interesting image or video published digitally will attract more customers.
In this digital era, we must prepare our labor force with ICT skills. So training employees with some essential ICT skills can be very beneficial. It will offer smoothness in the business cycle, because employees need to be competent in handling Excel, SQL, ERP, and IBM. This skill will increase productivity and efficiency. Employee able to observe important analytical data, and from the data, the employee can assess the situation better and make a solid decision to minimize expense while increasing the profit. Hence, the management can expand their business and generate more income in the future.